Thanks very much, Sean. So the Canadian health and safety policies provincially all universally allocate the responsibility of maintaining the racking system in a safe and certified condition back onto the facility's owners or operators or tenants, if you will. As part of any health and safety program in an organization, a rack maintenance plan is integral to demonstrating that not only to your associates, but to any third-party groups who may be visiting your site as part of ongoing safety inspections, that you are conducting your business in a traceable, documented, and safe manner. A rack maintenance program is comprised mainly of two parts. Simply put, there's an inspection and there's a response. And while I'll not get into the inspection side during this presentation, I will touch a little bit on the response. If your inspection identifies damaged material, how you respond to that damage is not set out by a code or a set of enforceable rules. As an operator, your rack maintenance program, which you lay out, must identify that course of action. It must identify the timing or the priority of response, and most importantly, it has to document it. So as a domestic racking manufacturer with representatives across Canada, NAS is well suited to providing feedback on your program and to help you ensure that it meets the requirements of your province. So damage equals downtime, simply put. Anybody can come in and try and rate damage or qualify damage, but when we certify your pallet racking, it's presumed to be in new or like new condition. And so if there's a dent somewhere on it, or it's deflected or deformed, well, now it's not as it was when it was originally evaluated. So that needs to be addressed. It could no longer be trusted. So the priority which you apply to that will be set by your operations staff and your health and safety program. But any way you look at it, the downtime from damage results in locked out storage locations. It could reduce your picking spots. It could limit or change the workflow unexpectedly in your operation, which results in lost productivity and ultimately lost revenue. We can assist you in evaluating if you have areas of repeat occurrences or intersections or locations where there's high incidence of reported damage, and apply customized solutions to ensure that your operation remains up to code and in fact functional for all the shifts that you're working during the week and for all the associates you may have working in that facility. We understand that businesses change, and so pallet storage system requirements and applications need to be flexible. When you work with a domestic partner, we are manufacturing to your needs. We are not simply providing you a catalog solution, which translates to what they have available locally at this time, or tying your maintenance or your operations downtime and repair schedule to long lead international material pipelines, of which we're all working through. Next page, please. So when I talk about lost revenues and cost to businesses, the biggest cost that we face as operators in this market is really the human cost. While it's pretty commonplace now, as recently as the 1990s, pallet racking was just considered warehouse furniture. There was no permitting, there was no inspections, there was no code, and really there was no expectations. And so it was left to owners and operators to deal with damage as they see fit. They'd weld their own, weld on little fix-it kits or bolt things on, or quite simply just pile stuff in front of the damage. Over the last 30 years, pallet racking has migrated out of the back of warehouses and into our daily lives. So it's not uncommon now to go out shopping with your family and find yourself walking amongst pallet racking. You see it in shopping clubs, you see it in DIY, hardware providers, you see it in big box stores, you even see it in regular retailing in department stores that might be selling bulky items or items by the pallet. So once the pallet racking came out of the warehouses into the retail environment, well, we then at that point decided we needed a set of rules to keep the public safe. When it was in the back of a warehouse, everybody was assumed to be sort of industrially aware, and it was assumed that everybody knew how to safely work around pallet racking. But once it came into the retail environment, and now families were walking around it, we had to implement a bunch of safety codes and guidelines. And as a sidebar, it actually really improved the fit and finish and paint quality and weld quality and appearance and interchangeability of all of these products, because now we've been thrust from the back all the way to the front of the line, and we had the world's attention. In fact, all these codes came in place to protect the public in these public areas, and was only after that, and I mean a decade or more after that, that they started applying that code to the associates working in warehouses. So it was a net positive effect. And as a country, Canada is still working through iterations of this design code, which we can agree keeps our associates safe, or in the case of a retailer, keeps our customers safe. We still don't have actually a standalone racking code. We have pieces of codes, and to really wade your way through it, it does take a little bit of dedication, and it takes some understanding. Those codes have come about through the contribution of North American pallet racking manufacturers collaborating, testing, rewriting code, retesting, in order to come to an agreed upon set of rules by which we'll design racking and by which we'll set up warehouses and provide guidelines for their safe use. There are no manufacturers participating in the Canadian pallet racking code that are based outside of North America. Full stop. And when we attended a recent international trade show, and there were many pallet racking manufacturers from around the world showing their wares and demonstrating their new products, and all for import into the North American domestic market. I took some time to ask some of them about things that I know are required as part of the Canadian pallet racking design code adherence. Things like welding certifications and material certifications and things like that. And the response I got back more than once was the costs are too high and no one asks. And that's really on us as a manufacturing community, that we're not pushing the government to really follow up on some of the things that we say should be in place. But the reality is right now, it's a little bit of a wild west as far as importing steel rack. There's no current tariffs on it, as other countries have implemented to try and stem the flow. There's no inspections upon landing. And in fact, there's no requirement for inspection once it's here, once that rack is installed. In some jurisdictions, we still don't have permitting. So that liability of maintaining a safe work environment, unless you buy in and tie in with a long-term partner, that's really going to be on you. And there's a lot to take in. Our goal at NAS is to ensure that everybody goes home at the end of the day. That should be all of our goals. It's the best way to ensure all of our long-term partnerships remain fruitful and our clients continue to be successful. We've been doing this for over 50 years in the Canadian market, and we prioritize doing it right the first time. We prioritize keeping abreast of changing rules and expectations by province. Because when you've been around as long as we have and work with the successful clients that we work with, there's many opportunities to improve and get it right, and lots of opportunities to build that relationship. So we're always working together with what's coming next, and in essence, keep you prepared and keep your people safe.